So a couple of weeks ago we did a coverkillernnation's favorite albums on death metal, and we spoke about four innovators of the genre. It's part one of many. I'm sure we'll get back to that eventually, but one band that was not on there was 6 Feet Under. 6 Feet Under was, of course, formed by Chris Barnes after his departure from Cannibal Corpse. Cannibal Corpse is probably considered an innovator by some blah, 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 blah. We get it. 6 Feet Under, on the other hand, is definitely not Cannibal Corpse. Not anymore. That's for darn sure. Crypt of the Devil by 6 Feet Under, new album here in 2015. Why does it always seem like every time I go to check on what new albums are coming out, it seems like 6 Feet Under's name is plastered on there? It seems like this is happening more and more frequently, almost as though they just live in the studio that they record in because they're afraid of sunlight, or the rent's all paid off so they don't have to pay for shit. Either that, or somebody in the band is fucking scared to death of leaving this one room and just happens to have a musical instrument and they have a recording contract. Crypt of the Devil. The first thing that I'm going to say is that death metal is a unique idea. It's a unique subgenre of music, especially a subgenre of metal. It's one that, whenever it first came out, was extreme, and it was meant to be extreme, and it was meant to have that element of sort of, I guess, fear or gross-out element to it to really showcase what it was as opposed to other traditional styles of music. Similarly, where you see with extreme metal a lot of shock and awe. It's 2015, that shock and awe, that old school shock and awe philosophy at least, does not really work all of that well that often anymore. So whenever we see stuff such as Broken Bottle Rape, song titles that is, or Open Coffin Orgy, Break the Cross in Half, Slit Wrists, Stab, The Night Bleeds, we're really getting into some very tired ideas, very tired concepts that come from a band that tries to incorporate an old school style of death metal, but themselves sounds exceptionally tired, exceptionally winded. Maybe 6 Feet Under should just take some time off. So let's talk about this musically. There's not fucking much to say. There really isn't. I've already described what it is. It's death metal. So if you know what death metal is, then you know what this is going to sound like. If you like death metal, then it becomes a little bit more of a, let's separate this, a potato-potato type of idea. 6 Feet Under fans will probably enjoy this, but I have a feeling that a lot of you are going back to some of your Elder Scrolls of 6 Feet Under for true entertainment, for true good music, because this isn't. These are extremely boring, bland, very predictable, very akin to the genre riffs. These are ones that feel as though the band is now just recycling material from death metal's first 20 years and kind of letting that be passable. Now, they've done a Graveyard Classic series. They are at, I think, 3 or 4 different volumes. It's a cool little idea, but the execution's not good, and this is not good here either. The execution is really the problem. It sounds like it should be passable. It really does. Musically speaking, I have to say it is probably a little bit better off than the vocals, because the vocals are just really kind of up and down. This is very much a very schizophrenic album vocally, where at some points in time Chris sounds like he's a halfway competent vocalist, but a lot of the times he sounds completely and totally ridiculous. It just does not have a consistency to it that is good. It's not something where this is being done for variety's sake either. It's one where it feels very much like it's just that fucking off-putting and that fucking random. Like Good Day or Bad Day, Good Recording or Bad Take, it's making its way to the album. Musically speaking, like I said, the riffs may be generic, the overall composition may be pretty typical of what you'd hear from a death metal record, but at least it has some element that some individuals may enjoy a little bit. But really, this is an approach that's forcefully direct, that really misses on all levels. It misses on all counts. Gruesome is a track that some people may seem or feel to be a little bit different, may feel like this is something that showcases that maybe they've graduated a little bit from their tired songwriting and they're trying something different. I disagree with that. This is a fucking mess. This is a mess of a song. It immediately showcased to me that there is just a lot of shit to come from this album. A lot of people are going to probably praise this, saying that old school death metal has returned. Go ahead and have your day in the sun, but old school death metal can easily be purveyed very, very well by a band that's been around for just as long. Take a listen to the past couple Cannibal Corpse records and you'll understand what I mean. That's after the band had a kind of a wavery period, you know, in the middle portion of the 1990s and the first part of the 2000s. As far as this album is concerned, I mean, get it if you want, but don't expect much. Don't expect the next fucking masterpiece of death metal. You're not going to get that. You actually have a better chance of getting that from a band entitled Gruesome than you do getting it from Crypt of the Devil by 6 Feet Under, which boasts a song called Gruesome. This is just tired music, which really it worries a lot more people than it actually puts their minds at ease. It makes people think that this old style is just dead and gone, when in reality, there's probably about 20 to 30 other bands that have been around since 1990 that purvey in the death metal style that could probably put out a better album with their eyes closed. That's just how I feel. Do you really want me to rate this? Do I really need to rate this? Well, I guess I do have to rate this. Well, a long time ago, whenever I reviewed an album, I gave them a 50 out of 100 based around the fact that they had a deal and I don't. It's a stupid fucking way of looking at things now that I look at it based around the fact that I'm not actively seeking a deal. I'm not actively in a band or trying to be in a band. And I know that's a big point of contention. Well, then how do you know? How can you judge music if you don't make it yourself? Because I have ears and I've listened to enough of this shit to know what's enjoyable and what isn't. And plus, this is all subjective anyway, so when you say fuck me, I say fuck you. We're both right and we're both wrong at the same time. Shut up and deal with it. But I would have to say that this album, for at least sounding like an old school death metal album, is about middle of the road. Actually, it's worse than middle of the road. It's below average, so 45 out of 100. This is trash. I didn't like this at all. You probably disagree. You probably enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and curse me out in the comments, but also, while you're doing that, because I know you will, tell me why you liked it. Tell me what about this album you enjoyed. Start a conversation. Don't just be an asshole. I know I'm being an asshole, so turnabout is fair play. I get that, but at the same time, try to do something more than 6 feet under rules, fuck you. That tells nobody nothing. It doesn't tell them that 6 feet under rules. It means that they roll to you. Fuck me, fuck you. There. Plain and simple. So what did you think about it? Let me know, and we'll talk about it.